I see a Budweiser. Go ahead and hold it up.
Yes. There's
that was the
Budweiser.
biggest clue.
Yes, right
Doing
there.
it for Dale.
Man, it's so many gimmicks, right? I feel like they're making it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, a lot of people, you get polarizing opinions on DRS.
I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here, but sometimes the effort, it's all about the boys. You know, like, hey, you know, life sucks sometimes, and we
Yes.
the boys.
iRacing kind of always has a tendency to kind of buff
Yes.
the new cars just a little bit. I'm not going to go on record saying it's because they want people to spend money on their platform and buy all the new
Conspiracy
content.
confirmed.
But
Yes.
but
Sim racing is growing more and more, and it's bringing real-life racers and sim racers together. This is making the competition level rise like I've never seen it before. So if you want to become that competitive, the secret is in the driving technique more than equipment. My professional driving technique course, the Motor Racing Checklist, already has over 3,000 drivers, including real-life drivers and professional esport drivers, just so you know how good it is. I made this course after coaching over 2,000 drivers in one-to-one live sessions, and it contains all the advanced concepts, techniques, and exercises that I've developed with my students over all these years of coaching. It's perfect for any simulator, racing games, and also for real-life drivers wanting to use a simulator to improve their real-life driving technique. This course is about car handling skills, and the goal is to make you find better lap times and consistency. You will learn how to prevent and induce specific behaviors and learn how to feel them earlier so you can predict what's happening with the car with professional precision. By the way, this course has a money-back guarantee with no questions asked. So if you don't improve, you get your money back. And you can join my Discord to read reviews and ask any questions. Join the course now and I will see you on track.
Hello and welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting's coverage of the Motor Racing Academy. This is their final round at Oschersleben. My name is Adam Thompson. I am joined by the new owner of SMB in the commentary booth today, Daniel Zippy Salmon. On production, running all the cameras for this awesome race is going to be Joshua Wilkie. Daniel, new series coming to Slow Motion Broadcasting here, and it looks like a good one we got going today.
Oh, it's going to be a absolute belter, Adam. And certainly it is one of the things where, you know, I've seen Swellio, you know, when he started up on YouTube, and I've seen him grow and get bigger. And now he's at the point where, you know, he has like the Motor Racing Academy, the Motor Racing Checklist. You know, he's even expanded into doing like sim gloves and sim shoes as well. And it is absolutely fantastic. Like when he's going out, he's got himself a real radical. And then he's scoring podiums, like he's doing absolutely fantastic. And even then, when he's there at the track, people are bumping into this gentleman and they're recognizing him and they're saying, look, this is how much this course has helped me. And then even professional drivers, or some of them are taking the course as well. And this is the league that is associated with that. So I am absolutely stoked to be involved in this. Very huge thanks to Swellio and also to Connor as well for helping us get this set up on relatively short notice. But you know what? It's going to be an absolute belter. This final round, the Miatas, Oschersleben, I think we're in for a good show.
I think we are too, and we are right now about to be riding on board with Mike Sargent for a lap around the track here of Oschersleben. He is about 3/4 of the way around the track, so we will give it just a second here. Going to be coming around the final corner very, very soon. Maybe. Here we go. All right, he looks like he's about to complete his first flyer here. Going to be coming through. There is no way I'm going to be able to to pronounce these corner names, but I'm going to try anyway. Sashin and Halt curve. Massive front straight here for Mr. Sargent on his first flying lap of the qualifying session. As you see, it's open right now, so this draft may help him as long as the car in front gets him. Is fast enough to be able to get through the hotel corner and watch this corner. This is going to be mayhem right here. Hard left, hard right, on the brakes. Watch out for the pit exit on the left-hand side, too. That could cause some problems. Going to be moving now through hotel still. That is such a very difficult complex of corners right there. Now through Haas Rotor. left-hander, big sweeping left. A lot of sweeping corners here as he's trying to get by the 2 car here. If that 2 car lets him go, that's Bjorn Nasons. Looks like the 2, they're going to be battling now, going into the triple. So there's 1. This is why it's called the triple. There's 2. You got 1 more corner there. That's the 3rd one. Now through the no-name corner. Going to be another sweeping right-hander here on the curb as much as possible. Let the car wash out on corner exit. Use all that curb. Now through the chicane, spelled with an S, which is a weird spelling, but it is definitely a chicane. Now through another sweeping right-hander. As you guys can start to see, there are not very many hard braking zones here. You're going to have to get a lot of passing done. Definitely in the hard braking zone coming up, going down Stalingrad right now. Going through the Shell S's right now. Hard right. Now you got to get on that curb. You got to get back on the curb for the hard left. Let the curb bounce the car back out to the right. Use all the curb on the right-hand side again. Now, 1 more right-hander to go, and then 1 more after that. There's your pit entry right there to the left. You're going to cut over as far left as you can. Get back on the curb. Let the curb bounce the car back off to the left, through Sasha on-halt curb, down the straightaway, and that is a flying lap of this track. And Zippy, as you saw of that lap, Turn 1 is going to cause a lot of contention here, I have a feeling, especially with how well these Miatas draft.
Oh, absolutely. And certainly that is one of the things I completely love about the Miatas. You know, the draft is a huge part of it. And certainly you'll find that you get these absolutely fantastic draft battles here as we're on board with Mike Dier. He's one of the New York drivers. And I'm going to very quickly mention on the fact that this is a team championship as well. So I do know that there's blue, I think blue, silver, and gold, but I will confirm that certainly blue is leading it right now. And as you can see, a lot of these cars are blue. So I'm thinking that's how we're going to work out. As you see the gold team there going past. I think that's how we're going to work out who's who in this right now. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a points update on that very, very shortly. But certainly, you know, this track I think is going to be absolutely fantastic for these Miatas. I think we're going to see certainly some draft battles going on. But as you were saying, you know, a lot of long sweeping corners here. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting battle.
Yes, and speaking of interesting, I see an interesting I rating in here as well. He is not out on track yet, so we're not going to be able to see him, but Kane Halliburton with an 8,400 I rating. We're going to have to watch out for him in that South African. The Jamaican, going to be an interesting showing from him to see where he qualifies. We still have plenty of qualifying time left for him to get out there. But right now, Tom Euler, we are on board with him, or watching him right now, first with the 139.1, about 0.2 of a second faster than anybody else. But as the fuel comes out of these Miatas, the tires get warm. Watch these times start to tumble. I bet you we're going to be seeing 138s, mid 138s by the time we're done with this qualifying session. And we're going to see who helps who. Obviously, the teams, like you mentioned, will be helping on the drafting for sure. Going to be interesting. Daniel, what is the tactic here? How do you get your team up there to the front? And you want to be in the front when the race starts.
Well, I've got to be honest, don't get me wrong, I've seen team races before, but I've never quite seen one to the level of this, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. It's going to be a new, interesting dynamic for us, as we see there. A little bit of a whoops there from Fernando Alfonso, taking the a little bit of over-rotation heading into that corner, but I can tell you very quickly the team standing. So Team Blue is currently in the lead with 52 points, or also known as 5,252. Close behind them in second, though, is Team Gold. They're with 5,098 points. So while that gap sounds like a lot, keep in mind how many cars are out on track. Team Black and Team White, they're trailing quite a considerable margin behind, but in their own battle as well, with Team Black in third right now with 3,643 points, and Team White trailing not even 100 points behind, 98 points behind, with a little bit of zippy math there, as we see Tuamas having a little bit of a over-rotation as well. They're there with 3,545 points, but I am really interested to see how this is going to work. Like, I will admit, I do not know how these guys decide who's in what team, but I do think it could be an interesting dynamic, because certainly, you know, if me and you are racing, my biggest thing as a teammate is going to be making sure I don't take you out. And then my next point will be, well, I know you're faster than me, so ideally I would actually want you ahead of me to hopefully present a situation where I can get in your tow and, you know, be propelled down the track. But then there is one more technique, and this is something I've done more in endurance races with lap traffic, is you can use the other cars around you. So say we've got two blue cars going into the apex of a corner. you know, you can instantly block off the rival team's car behind you. They can't pass you if you can't get wide. Maybe we're going to see a little bit of formation driving here at the Motor Racing Academy.
Well, you mentioned a couple things there, Zippy. Number one, I would never want to be your teammate. We've raced on track before, and the one person that I would not want on my team is the guy who's wrecked me out twice in one race. But we're going to gloss right over that and keep going and be talking about this team battle. Right now, we are watching Jan, and he's sitting in 8th place right now. I believe his teammate sitting right behind him. Obviously, I would assume it's his teammate. No, they're actually not teammates. I believe Suri may not be his teammate. Yes, that's a white car. So 2 brothers, clearly, maybe, I think. Nope, they're not. I'm just terrible because I'm an American. But yes, two drivers here sitting in 8th and 9th. Yes, from the same country at least. I got that part right. Let's talk about an American real quick. Mike Deere up there in 2nd place as well, doing a great job. Obviously, in a white car. So yeah, this is going to be tough for me. Let me keep talking and get through it, and I'm going to send it back over to you, Daniel. We got to start figuring out the team dynamic here because I don't quite know what's going on at the moment.
Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting dynamic, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. You know, again, it's a little bit of a last-minute show, and the more I'm getting into this, the more I'm being like, okay, this is actually going to be really, really, really good. And not only that, something we haven't mentioned yet as well is we do have live race control for this event. I actually have a private chat open with the stewards, so any incidents that come in, we will be letting you know here on stream. But certainly an interesting format, the open qualifying as well, which I think that's an improvement. You know, it's more realistic qualifying. You don't necessarily get a track to yourself. Certainly that would be beautiful, would it not? But lap traffic coming into play. But speaking of qualifying, we've got about 4 minutes left of that, and currently it's the German driver, Tom Euler. He's up on the top set with the American driver right behind him, Mike Deere. And forgive me if I get this wrong, I did fail geography, ladies and gentlemen, but I believe that is a flag from Finland for Tuomas Martinen in 3rd.
I believe you're on to something there, Zippy. Good job. You're better than I am, but you've also got a better accent than I do, which means you're probably a bit more in tune on what's going on around the world than I am. But yes, those are the top 3 drivers. Alessandro right now sitting in 4th place with Kyle, the American, sitting in 5th. Bardianik in 6th with Bjorn Nasons sitting in 7th, who just came into the pits. But Alessandro Ranieri, we haven't talked about him. Beautiful gold car, and we're starting to see that team dynamic now. Look at that. His teammate sitting right in front of him here. We'll see if Alessandro can get a better lap. These lap times haven't come down, though, like I thought they were going to, Daniel.
Yeah, I honestly thought they would come down as well, but I find sometimes just with myself driving, often like the first lap after the out lap, I find that the tires can be in their prime scenario. But don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not a very good driver, and you know, I know you're going to run away with that one. Feel free, it's fair game. I open the door and you're going to go straight through it. But this is great to see some of these team tactics coming into play. The Scandinavian driver right there of Alessandro Ranieri, he is there right behind his teammate, and I'm hoping he's going to be able to get a draft. If anything he could do with bunching up just that little bit closer, you've got to have that happy medium. You want the car to be ahead of you, but not to the point where you can't see your brake markers. You know, you can't eye up your apexes, and it looks like these guys have got that gap figured out absolutely perfectly, using all of the track limits as well. Obviously, these guys have been taking part in the motor racing checklist as well. Every person here has been involved in taking the academy or taking the course.
Yep, they have. And let's see, and that did help. Alessandro Ranieri has
nice.
Thomas Euler up there at the top, and there's that 38 we were talking about. Great team driving from the gold drivers there. Alessandro Ranieri now sitting in pole by a long shot, and I'm wondering if anybody else is going to have enough time to get anywhere close to what Alessandro has just done.
Well, definitely, it's not like it's a small gap either. I mean, as we look through the field, the timing between these guys is incredibly tight, especially if I look at even just like the top 5, top 6. You know, just a couple attempts in it, but, you know, Ranieri, he's gone and absolutely blitzed him, like with a little bit of Zippy. Oh, as we say that, Martinen, he's just gone and put in another 38 as well.
Here come the lap times that we were thinking about, and you can see them now working together. Thomas now in the lead. There's 3 white cars sitting nose to tail right now. Let's see what this does for Thomas, if he's going to try to get another flyer. It looks like he's actually maybe backed out of this just a little bit. Thomas, though, sitting now in second place. Tom Euler was doing great for the first 13 minutes of qualifying. Now he's finding himself back in third place all of a sudden. Everything's kicking off with a minute to go in qualifying.
Well, I'm absolutely loving the fact we have a free car train right now. That can only be good things. And it's such an interesting dynamic of racing. Like you see Euler, he's there pulling off. But I've like, don't get me wrong, I've never seen a race which has involved that so much as, oops, a little bit of a scenic route there. But I do see as well, these guys are definitely very competitive as well. The track is getting a little bit spicy as well, but we'll let race control deal with that as these times. That's actually one of the staff here as well at Motor Racing Academy. That's Kyle Diaz Castro. He is the Chief Operating Officer for Swelio. He's out on the track as well, so clearly, you know, very talented behind the wheel as well as dealing with some of the admin stuff. As I say that, the old commentator's curse is fully locked and loaded. He has a little bit of spin there around the right-hander.
Well, I mean, when you've got Kyle dealing with admin stuff, I hope he's not doing it in the race, because I've tried to do that before, and it is not fun. But big ups to you, Kyle, for doing all the admin stuff. Not all of it, but some of the admin stuff behind the scene, and probably, in a way, trying to figure out how to get us, this stream going. But right now, we are done with qualifying. We will get a grid up very, very shortly here. Hopefully. Maybe.
The work in progress, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go. Adam, please do the honor, sir.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're going to give me all the hard names, I see. We've got Alessandro sitting in first place right now, with Thomas right beside him in second. Tom Euler sitting in third. Mike Deere starting in fourth place, the first American on the grid, with Kyle Diaz right behind him in fifth. Bardia sitting in sixth. Bjorn starting in seventh place, with Juan San Miguel starting in eighth. Jan Jankic starting in ninth, with Jason Hag rounding out your top 10.
Well played there, Adam. As we see Serhii Yanuk in the he's there in 11th with Kevin Adrian. Now, I believe he runs in the Weekend Warriors as well. It's good to see him here. He's there in 12th, the Canadian driver. In 13th, Rob Van Den. He's there for Raptor Racing Team with Mike Sargent from Beaver Block. Now, that's a gentleman I'm familiar with. He can drive. I know that. Well, he absolutely... I don't stand a chance against him, but you can see he's there in 14th. Bell Wells, he's there in 15th. Another American driver just for you there, Adam. Zoltan Zamota, he's there in 16th with Fernando Afonso in 17th, with Charles Krasick in 18th, Michael Cords in 19th, and Rich Meesters, also from CRL, in 20th.
With Jonathan Abreu starting in 21st. Massive field here tonight. Kane Halliburton starting in 22nd. Paul Hickman in 23rd, with Yui... nope. In 24th place. And I do believe that is going to round out our grid for this afternoon. It's not an evening race, which is weird for me, for this afternoon's race of these Miatas running around Oschersleben. It is going to be a fun one, Daniel. We do clearly have a full pace lap here. Let everybody get their wits about them. Now, they're not going to be able to warm up their tires like they used to. iRacing has changed that just a little bit, but it's still going to be just a time for these drivers to get their wits about them. You can see we have four different teams starting from 4 different positions up front. This is going to be a good one, Zippy.
I'm really, really looking forward to this team racing. Like, I've never seen an event like it, and these guys have been doing this for a little while now, so certainly I'm hoping to see more and more of this coming back to slow motion broadcasting. But it's certainly interesting to see how it's going to work out. You know, you've got to remember, obviously, as well, you don't want to take out your own team. That's definitely something, you know, you got to keep in mind. But wow, what a fantastic camera angle there. Definitely wasn't expecting that. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. But it's definitely going to be an interesting dynamic, and I love as well the fact that, you know, it's very much looks like a spec series. You know, I'm really enjoying that. My OCD side is in pure bliss right now.
Yeah, well, I'm glad your OCD side is in pure bliss, because it's probably about to not be in pure bliss as we go into turn 1, and I hope I'm wrong about that, but I have a sneaky suspicion this is a very long run down into turn 1, and it's going to be a very interesting turn 2. Turn 1 may not be the issue. It's when the cars start to wash out for turn 2 where we might see a bit of argy-bargy. I used a British term there. Did you like that one, Daniel?
Oh dear, yeah. I'm not going to try and speak American because we know how that's going to go, and I want to try and keep this one pretty professional on that front. Yeah, no, I do comedy as well, so sometimes I may forget this at moments. But another thing to keep in mind as well, so if you're thinking, okay, like it's a 24-car grid, you know, I expected more. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is actually a second split happening as well. These guys do run splits, and both splits are race controlled. So if this is something you want to get involved in, you know, get involved in the motor racing checklist, get involved. You know, get that book, get the get into the academy, the motor racing academy as well. You know, you can do like monthly memberships and stuff like that. I think the academy, if I remember rightly, is $300, and then you pay that and you're in for life. So certainly something to think about as well. We'll have more adverts coming up for that a bit later, but definitely looking forward to this. And I think you're going to be right, Adam. I can see turn 1 and 2 being a absolute chaos scene here in the Miatas.
Let's talk about that real quick. We've got a bit of insider information here from Crispy the Goat saying blue team has a habit of taking each other out, and there are 2 blue team drivers there on the right-hand line. So, yeah, get ready for that one. I don't think maybe he's just being facetious. I hope he is. We are still waiting. We are green here for the final round of the Motor Racing Academy. And to be honest, we already have contact in the back. That did not last long or take long at all. We will get a replay because turn 1 is still coming up here. Let's see what happens. We have Thomas on the inside, Alessandro on the outside, now Alessandro on the inside. All these drivers getting through turn 1. I was wrong. They proved me wrong. It happened before turn 1. And here we go. Right now, Thomas sitting in first position. Grab that place from Alessandro. Tom Euler still back at third. That looks like Thomas. He's just gone around. What has happened here? Chaos here at the Motor Racing Academy.
Well, it just goes to show it doesn't matter how good a qualifying lap you put in, you still need to be able to get through the race, as this is good news for Ranieri. He's out in front, but he's already under pressure. Thomas Euler right behind him. So we have Team Gold, Team Black, Team Blue taking the top 3 right now. Mike Dier, he's there in 3rd place. As we see a pass going on. Oh, that looked like contact between 2 of the Team White cars. That's Kane Halliburton trying to make his way through as quickly as possible. And actually, we have 4 of the Team White cars all bunched together. This could be interesting as one of the Team Blue is right there. I believe that might be Rich Meesters. Yeah, Rich Meesters. He drives for Canada Racing League. He's there as well. I've raced him before, and I got to admit as well, his driving standard has been improving very heavily. I know when I first met the guy, I had him pretty much walked over, but now at this point, I don't stand a chance. But Rich Meesters, he's currently under pressure, and that car behind, well, it's fair to say it is cosmetically challenged at this point.
Yeah, it looks like Bell Wells, who was definitely a part of whatever happened at the start. We will get to it, but we're going to get this first lap covered first. I believe Alessandro Ranieri still up in first place, but look, do not look now. Tom has a massive run down to the drag into turn 1. Is Tom going to go for it? No, they're going to start bump drafting a little bit. It looks like Tom wants to make this a 2-car battle, Daniel.
Well, that is definitely a very good tactic. Certainly as well, if you manage to break the pack on the Miatas, you know, you can potentially open up your own little battle. But let's have a quick look at the replays. We see Krasik, he's there. We're actually getting a little bit of a quick view of the pits there. Looks like he had a pit lane start there. And let's take a quick look. Here we're back with Thomas Euler. We're going to take a quick look at that replay in a second. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So here where they are, that looks like they're coming around the final bend. And let's see exactly what happened on this start finish.
Oh, it was a bunched up start. I can already see what's happening. Zoltan's the motor does go left into his teammate. You can saw that inside right side line checkup. Zoltan thought he had enough room on the right hand side or the left hand side. Absolutely did not. And that is all she wrote for Team Black. Well, a couple of them at least, but there is a Team Black driver still up here in 2nd place, and he is right hot on the heels of Alessandro Ranieri, and that is Tom Euler. We knew he was quick in qualifying, got pipped at the end due to teamwork, but he's right back, and he's in the hunt.
Well, this is good. This is what Team Black needs right now after that little bit of friendly fire there at the race start. Definitely wasn't intentional. Just think, you know, maybe hadn't quite realized there was another driver alongside. You know, the relative would have been quite busy. And using a lot of the track there is Kane Halliburton. He's been brought to the pits. I'm not quite sure why. Actually, a few cars in the pits. That Miata is currently... I don't think it's cocking its leg. I think it's just getting a little bit of a tire change at this point as we see Michael Cords, a Pennsylvania driver, heading down out of the pits. Now, I don't fully understand the scoring yet, but I do understand that I think it's 20 points available just for finishing the race. So certainly these guys are motivated to keep going, to keep racing. As we see, that is the lead pack coming around. Alessandro Ranieri still under pressure from Tom Euler.
Well, we got to think about this too. We have two 20-minute heats with an invert at the end of the first heat. So we have to start thinking about that. I believe it's a top 10 invert, Zippy. Correct me if I'm wrong. And now we can see that all of these drivers in the back, I don't know how the fuel usage or what they've done. And that is close between Mike Sargent and Kevin Adrian, but they are doing okay. No, that's Afonso next to Mike Sargent. Afonso on the outside line, Sargent on the inside line. Is he going to be able to get the move done? Afonso still fighting back. They are still 2x2 going through the final corner, almost the final corner, and it looks like Sargent just gets moved out just enough to be able for Afonso to get that position. But look what this battling has done. Looks like Jan Jankic has definitely started to pull away just by a little bit of side-by-side there, Daniel.
Oh, definitely. You got to decide, do you want to chase the guys ahead of you or fight the guy alongside you? And at this point, Sargent's doing everything he can to try and get up and get ahead. But, Afonso just had the better of him. But, this is where the team dynamic is going to be very interesting as well. I mean, another thought, the Carlos Sainz did this with DRS, Can you back your teammate up to the point? I mean, don't get me wrong, these Miatas don't have DRS, and if they do, that would be wickedly awesome cool. But, can you almost slow down the field to try and enable your teammates? It would be a very high-risk maneuver, but, potentially, how hard are these guys going to want to fight? It is the final round, and they are also communicating in Discord as well, so I'm sure there is definitely communication going on between the drivers at this point.
Oh, I'm sure there is, and I don't think these cars need a DRS. They have way too much slipstream already, and that's what's keeping the racing close up front as Kyle Diaz sets the fastest lap of the race. We are watching him right now sitting back there in 4th place. Team Gold, I think that is the first. No, his teammate, Alessandro Ranieri, sitting in 1st. So there is a Team Gold sandwich right now. Tom Euler and Mike Dier stuck in the middle of Team Gold at the moment. And it looks like Tom is starting to get a little bit interested in that 1st place position, starting to really get onto the back of Alessandro here.
Well, being a 20-minute race as well, this isn't going to be one where you guys fuel save. You're going to have to try and fight till the end, but this is where we bring in another technique as well. So Euler right now, he is getting pressure from behind and he's trying to move up forwards as well, but you've got to wonder when is the best time to make that tactical pass. Now, we know that there's a couple of long straights here, but these long sweeping corners, do you want to try and make a pass going into the final corner? Do you want to try and make the pass, stay behind them, and then slingshot them on the straight? Is there enough of a gap there? You've got to decide when is going to be the test time to make that move.
Yep, that's true. And real quick, Zippy, I think you can announce this if you want to, but we have had our first incident report come on through right now, and we were just talking about it. Car 59 of Zoltan Zamotor is going to get a 5 penalty points due to avoidable contact down that front straight.
Yeah, that's definitely not really too surprising there, but 5 penalty points, it's not really what he had in mind. And it looks like we're going to have a quick replay of that. It was Zoltan Zamotor. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it was intentional by any means, but it certainly could have been avoidable. He's seen an opportunity, gone down the middle, and just ended up getting hooked up, ironically, on his teammate, which then went and the gold car there, he kind of had a little bit of a facial reconstruction there, not the driver of the car in that case, and not what he had in mind. As I see Kane Halliburton as well, that was the really high I rating driver. He's actually disconnected, as has Tomas Martinen.
Yeah, already, and you got to think there's another heat coming up, so this is not over yet. So these drivers that have already disconnected clearly just have other things to do this afternoon and don't want to be involved in what could be carnage going down into turn 1 again for the 2nd heat, but also maybe some of these drivers have learned something. I know I don't learn much when I'm driving, so I probably would have done the same thing in heat 2, but you never know. But real quickly, we are looking at Jason Hagg sitting in 13th position right now. Team White, kind of out on his own. He is getting much better cooling in the front end of that Miata than I think he wants.
Well, it is definitely, it's got more sort of my sort of appearance at the front, The face and features is still there, but there's something not quite right. And you can see there a little bit of has been removed. And I do wonder as well, now the Miatas, I do find, they will take a little bit of a beating, actually. They're not, that delicate, but it will affect them certainly on the straight line speed. And another thing we got to wonder as well, is he going to mess with the alignment? As we still see this battle up for the lead pack, there's about 5 cars involved, but it looks like Thomas Euler is going to go for it as they head down into turn 1. Adam, this is exactly the corner where you called it. Is Euler going to be able to get it done? At the minute, he's ahead, and yes, he's got that done. Euler takes 1st place. Ranieri pushed back down into 2nd.
Euler does get it done, and now we're starting to see these drivers start to size each other up for the end of this race. We still have about 11 minutes to go. But one thing I wanted to mention, Zippy, after we see this battle between Mike Deere and Kyle Diaz, but one thing I wanted to mention is that front straight long enough? Is that start-finish line far enough down that front straight for someone, as we see Mike hit the wipers, is that front straight long enough? Is that start-finish line far enough down to be able to get a slipstream out of the final corner? Can we see an overtake for the win on the last lap out of the final corner, Zippy? That is yet to be seen.
I think it's going to be close now. The Miata is a fantastic car, but power is maybe something that it could do with just a little bit of a smidge for, but then it wouldn't really be the Miata at that point. The beauty of the Miata is the fact that, you know, it isn't rocking 400 horsepower. As we see another car that is cosmetically challenged. That's driven by Bell Wells right now, the number 23rd. And just for you, Adam, the American driver. He's currently, he's in the gold car with Bjorn Nassens right behind him from Benalur. And it looks like Nassens wants to make a move, but I don't know if he's going to have the real estate to get it done. In terms of making a pass on the front straight, I don't think it's quite long enough, Adam. I think you're going to have to get the work done before then and then defend in the later part of the track.
Yeah, and that is what I'm worried about. And real quickly, we have Crispy the Goat here in chat talking about the points. First place gets 50 points with one less. Each point you go down the order. So that is something to keep in mind when we start talking about this team dynamic for the final race. And he says, Jen and Mike, please don't kill each other. Let's go Team Blue. Obviously, Jen and Mike are part of Team Blue. Going to be an interesting dynamic here with Team Blue, it sounds like. But Kevin Adrian, we know this guy, sitting up in 8th position right now, doing a great job with a bit of an injured Bell Wells behind him. But you can see Bell is still staying, as long as he stays in that slipstream, he still has a chance at this 8th position.
Well, definitely, this is where the team... Oh, no, you had to say it. Kevin Adrian goes right around. Oh, dear, that was a full Sugar Babes maneuver. Just right round, baby, right round. And definitely not what he had in mind. Thankfully, you know, nobody was killed in the carnage, but it looks like he just had a little bit of over-rotation there. You can see the weight balance moving as we got a view here from Bell Wells in the number 23. You can see they go into that corner, and it just starts to over-rotate. The weight moves towards the front. The back end gets light, and yeah, maybe gets a little bit of a nudge on the once it's already started to go around, but not what they had in mind. Definitely very easily done. You can see the weight transfer really playing a part in these cars.
Yeah, it is, and that's the one thing about these Miatas, in case nobody's ever driven them, they are a pain in the butt to get around corners. You have to control drift these things, and they do very well at drifting until they don't anymore. So that is going to be one of the things that are probably going to be a point of contention as this race goes on and these drivers start battling harder. And speaking of hard battling, we have Thomas Euler sitting in front, but he is about to become under fire by Kyle Diaz and Alessandro Ranieri. These two drivers, both part of Gold Team. These two drivers can work together, get a bit of a slipstream going, get a push, and it looks like there's a Gold driver coming out behind them as well. It's going to be 3v1 here going into the final 8 minutes of this race, Zippy.
Well, I definitely really want to see, can Diaz Castro, can he give Ranieri a little bit of a bump? You know, the straights are long enough that they could potentially bump draft, but again, a little bit of high risk. This is where the communication is really going to be key. As we see a couple of the blue team cars there a little bit further back, maybe those guys can bump draft as well. I think that, there you go. Thank you very much, Mr. Director. That's Mike Deere. He's there with Mike Sargent, I believe, right. No, that's Janik.
That's Jan or John. I don't know. Jan, I believe. I think that's Jan and Mike. And these are the two drivers that Crispy the Goat said, please don't kill each other, guys. So obviously they're both part of the blue team, and clearly they're doing well. Both of them in the top 5 right now. Both of them hanging out very good in points. But the problem is there are Gold drivers in front of them, and those Gold drivers are going to get more points right now. Mike Sargent sitting back there in 6th, also a blue team driver. So 3 blue team drivers sitting 4th, 5th, and 6th. Bjorn Nassens sitting in 8th position right now, out on his own. And there is the the car that's seen better days, with Rich Meesters sitting in 12th position right now, another blue team driver, going through all the blue team guys right now. And you can see most drivers doing okay, most of them still clean, but the problem with these Miatas, especially around a track like this, Oschersleben, it's very draft heavy. You lose the draft and it's game over, Daniel.
Oh, definitely something to keep in mind as well. As I see Tuomas Martinen, he has reconnected, so that is good news for sure. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the points develop. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't know if we're going to be able to get an update on the point scenario during the warm-up. So these guys, 15-minute qualifying, 20-minute heat 1. It flips for the invert. Top 10 gets inverted for heat 2, but in that means in the middle gap between the two heats, there is a 5-minute warm-up. I will try and get a little bit of a points update. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate these guys are busy. I don't know if we're going to get that, but we're going to leave that on hold for a minute as Ranieri, he's caught back up right onto the back of Thomas Euler. That gap was down to just 0.2 per second, and you can see Diaz Castro choosing not to make a move at this point. You know, he doesn't want to take out his teammate. I thought he was going to regain the lead there, but not quite able to get it done.
I don't think he wants to regain the lead yet, Daniel. This is when the games start. 15 minutes out of 20 in this heat race. They're going to start playing games with each other. Now, Alessandro is going to start teeing up Tom Euler, trying to figure out where the best part is to make an overtake, and this could be a good spot on the final lap. That's through the Shell S there, and then you've got the final corner here. So let's see how much of a slipstream Alessandro Ranieri can get as he gets a little bit wide there, but look at how wide he is, trying to get a great apex. And now let's look at Kyle Diaz back here, and look at this slipstream coming into turn 1. This is going to have to be where it gets done, and I think you're right, Zippy. I think it's going to have to get done probably going through the Shell S's on the final lap.
Yeah, that straight just isn't quite long enough, but I do wonder if Diaz Castro, can give his teammate a little bit of help there. As you can see, Jan Janik, he's there in 4th with Mike Dior in 5th, but as we have a look, there we go. We're looking at Fernando Afonso right now. Now, he has been battling with Mike Sargent. Looks like he's just gone a little bit wide there. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looked wide to me. Oh, okay, lap traffic. Okay, that's why he's taken a little bit of a different line, but we do have another race incident to report, ladies and gentlemen. Race control, sorry. Car number 10 and car number 23, lap 7, turn 3. There was an incident, and there has been a 5 point penalty to that number 23 car for avoidable contact, ladies and gentlemen. So the 23 car, let's have a quick look. That's Bell Wells. Okay, that would have been the one we saw between Bell Wells and Kevin Adrian. So yeah, that's that incident. Race control deciding no, that was avoidable, and they really expected a little bit better, and that's why you see Bell Wells front of the Miata there, rocking a new aerodynamic package. I do believe McLaren was not involved in that design.
Oh, here we go. Anyways, back to the actual racing at hand. Don't get me all fired up right now, Zippy, but yes, we've got Alessandro Ranieri, Kyle Diaz, Tom Euler all still sitting here, 1, 2, and 3. Time's ticking down. 3.5 minutes to go in this race. You can see him coming around the final 2 corners right now. Kyle Diaz is probably now on the horn with Alessandro saying, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get Tom? I believe Kyle may be able to get a push here and be able to get Alessandro past Tom, but the question is when and how long do they want to wait, or is Tom just that much faster? Does Tom have enough pace to stay ahead, Daniel? These are all questions that only the drivers know right now.
Well, I was starting to wonder it just then, as it looked like that was almost a little bit of a dive there from Ranieri. Now, I do think Ranieri can get that top spot, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it alone. I think Diaz Castro is going to have to try and give him some help. But on the flip side, you know, how hard are these guys fighting? You know, it's a tough call to make. You want to get that top spot. But right now, if you're sat in 2nd and 3rd, you know, how are you weighing up this, you know, how are you weighing up the decision? Do you want to try and push and go for it? Or are you going to be happy to have 2 cars up on the podium?
Exactly. You can now see on the top side of the screen there, we're just talking about that lap 7 incident between Mr. Adrian and Mr. Wells. But I don't think that's going to discourage Wells right now, as a car that has no front arrow was going for a move on Nascent. Doesn't quite get it done. Unbelievable attempt by Bell Wells, and I don't know if Bell even knows he's missing his front end. Clearly, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, that is definitely something to keep in mind, as I've got a, this one is not from race control. This is somebody called Brian Hartz, and he's saying, guys, the racing is so clean and professional looking due to the monumental effort by all staff, going from the kerfuffle to the slinky pre-start disasters we had in the initial race, he remembers that, to what is a professional looking televised race with students is freaking awesome. So happy to be part of this great community. Well, thank you very much for that tag there, Brian Hartz. And I gotta say, I agree with you 100%. It is absolutely fantastic to be broadcasting here for the Motor Racing Academy.
We have the white flag now, and I don't care, Brian, right now. We are going back to the beginning again. We have 3 drivers, nose to tail here. What is Alessandro going to be able to do on Tom? Is he going to be able to do anything? Keep an eye down Stadio Grad. Let's see if he can make a move into the Shell S, or is he going to wait until the Sachsen and Alt curve to try to get a move done? Does he have enough pace to get it done on Tom Mueller? These are all things, again, that we are about to find out. Excuse me, we've got Euler, Ranieri, Castro, all to play for right now, Zippy.
Well, it does look like Castro has dropped back a little bit. So now Ranieri, if he's going to make it happen, he's going to have to make it happen on his own. And he's definitely inching closer to that back of the Miata. The gap holding pretty steady there. He's flittering between 4 tenths and 2 tenths, depending on where they are on the track. But, you know, you can see Euler is absolutely driving the wheels off that Miata. As that gap, there you go, it's come down again. He got it down to 2 tenths per second.
Here comes the move. Is he going to be able to do it here? Can he do it here? Coming into the Shell S. This is going to be the first spot that he's going to be able to make the move. No, not close enough. He has one more chance. As long as he can stay close, he goes a little bit wide, though. Going into the S's, that may be what Tom Mueller needs to get this win. Now, going through the second to the penultimate corner. Another British term, by the way. You're welcome. Now, through the final corner, the Sachsen Anhalt. This is the last chance for Alessandro Ranieri in Heat 1. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it done. Tom Mueller coming from 3rd place to get this win. Alessandro Ranieri in 2nd with Kyle Diaz-Castro rounding out your top 3.
Definitely a very, very close race here. I got another message from race control as well. DT to car 1 failing to give way to blue flag. So definitely that's not good at all. You definitely, black flag, look, for Buddy and Nick. That's not what they wanted to see. But you can see some of these guys coming across the line. It's going to be interesting as well how the second heat works out. You know, I do wonder if these guys are going to cool it down a little bit, or if the racing is just going to get even hotter with this being the final round. But you see there, Paul Hickman, he's coming across the line next. It's about time we saw a UK driver coming across there. Charles Krasek, he's coming in next for California. More points for Team Gold there. And I am going to try and pester the stewards a little bit in the meantime, Adam, just to see if we can maybe get a little bit of a points update.
Yeah, we do need to get a points update, because as you were talking, like you like to do, Zippy, I saw 4 blue cars coming across the line, nose to tail, of Jonkic, Dier, Sargent, and Afonso. That is going to be a huge points haul for Team Blue.
Oh, definitely, you know, the more guys you've got in the race, the better odds you have of bringing home that trophy. And let's have a quick reminder of that battle right now. So Team Blue is in the lead over Team Gold. With a little bit of zippy math here. Oh dear, maybe shouldn't have gone that way. We'll say it's about 150 points. I'll do the zippy math for you in a little bit. I need to use a calculator for that, but it's pretty close. But then there's also a battle going on for 3rd between Team Black and Team White. That one was, I think, was just 98 points going off memory. Well, that's quite impressive this time of the day. Attaboy.
Not bad.
So it would be interesting to see how that works out. I am asking the stewards if we can get that points update, but I've got to hand it to them. You know, that's quite a big ask at this point.
We are sitting now in the warm-up phase. We are going to wait on some points to come through. We do have the UI up, Mr. Producer, if we could get rid of that. But with that being said, we do have hopefully a points update coming at you. Sitting in the warm-up phase right now, 5 minutes. I know it says warm up, but it may be allowing all of the drivers just to cool down a little bit, Zippy, after that first race. All right, we're back live again. Sorry, that was my fault, because I'm not used to sitting in the commentary booth. I'm used to sitting in the producer booth, and it was my UI that was up. But anyway, Zippy, speaking of warm up, let's talk about cooling down. There were a few incidents after that first heat. Maybe some of these drivers, you think they're going to air their displeasures towards each other, or you think they're going to be able to just to kind of calm it down and have a nice, calm Saturday afternoon drive here at Oschersleben for Heat 2?
I think where we have race control, I think that's generally these guys, you know, that's, I mean, I'd say it's not the purpose of race control, but having race control here, it kind of deals with any situations that arise. And it's basically, you know, you've done your bit, It's dealt with. Let race control decide it. They are the independent factor in that. But I have just got a message from Gonzalo Barros, and we're not going to be getting a points update, I'm afraid. And you know what? That I got to admit, that was a big ask. But certainly moving forward,
I know Zippy?
It was a big ask.
Okay,
Did I not pronounce it? I just figured out what you thought you heard. No, I didn't say that.
Okay, just making sure. This is a child-friendly stream here, Zippy. So let's keep it child-friendly, okay? Let's try to keep it child-friendly. But right now we are looking on board or watching Thomas Martinen getting a little bit of practice here before Heat 2. Remember, top 10 gets inverted, and we won't know. I believe we're going to be able to see the grid, but we're not going to be able to see the results because of the way that our overlays work with iRacing. I don't believe we're going to get results for you. But that's okay. We should be able to get a grid here after the invert. But with that being said, we have about 2.5 minutes left in this warm-up session. Now we've got some drivers coming out. Zoltan Zamoter, who was a part of that lap 1 incident. And then Michael Cords, Mike Deere, and Thomas Martinen out on track. Right now, when there comes Thomas Martinen, that is something that we need to keep an eye out for, Zippy. Obviously, no drivers needed to pit, clearly, because of this 20-minute heat format. But if there is a driver coming out of pit lane, as you can see, that could cause some serious problems.
Oh, definitely. It's certainly all of a sudden that racing line that you wanted is compromised at that point. What do? All you can do is leave space, but you'd hope in some ways that if they are coming out the pit lane, obviously something's gone wrong, you'd hope that they would hold back. But I am hearing that we have the results from Heat 1. So I tell you what, let's take a quick look through those while we're doing this little bit of a warm-up stage.
Let's see if we can get him, and I'll be impressed. And oh my goodness, he's better than I am at this stuff. But anyways, Tom Euler in first place, as we saw, with Alessandro Ranieri sitting in second, Kyle Diaz in third. Obviously, a Team Black driver into Team Gold drivers. But what we need to talk about are the Team Blue drivers of Jan Jankic, Mike Deere, and Mike Sargent. 4th, 5th, and 6th, Zippy. Huge points haul with Fernando Afonso, Bjorn Nasons, Bell Wells, and Siri Yannick rounding out your top 10. And remember, those top 10, imagine all of those and watch them all get flipped, Zippy, for Heat 2.
Well, as we have a look at 11th place, we've got Kevin Adrian as well. But you know what? We'll get back to that a little bit later. Certainly, it's good to see some people here that I do indeed recognize. I know Swelio, he's currently out at the real track right now, so we will forgive him for not being present. If you're going to miss a race, that's probably the only viable excuse. Certainly, I know our producer recently got married. I don't know if I suppose we could let him have the day off for getting married. That seems fair. Well, Adam, what do you think? You're a married man. Would you let him race on his wedding day?
I believe he thought about racing on his wedding day, and I am so glad that he has a sense of good and well-being in his head, because he probably wouldn't be married right now if he did race on his wedding day, because I know I wouldn't. So you got to keep him happy, but obviously the wives of me and Joshua allow us to do this, which is all we can ask for. But yes, Crispy the Goat, I promise you, next time, we will have driver numbers and team allocation in the standings. Again, this was a very short notice. We will get those overrides for you as long as we get it next time. And that is a question for the admins and Mr. Zippy here as the SMB owner. But warm-up has finished, so we are about to get into Heat 2, Zippy.
Well, I'm absolutely stoked. Certainly it's been great to get these guys on board, and I would very happily continue doing this. I know Joshua, I did offer to buy him a coffee this week. He didn't quite realize how early it was, so I do thank our director for getting out of bed early. I do understand Adam as well is kind of confused by the sheer daylight of the fact. But as we have a look at the grid, we've got Serbi. Can't even say it with a straight face. Serbi Yanuk, he's there on the pole with Bell Wells in second. Now, we did see Bell get a little bit of a penalty last round. Hopefully they can keep it a little bit cleaner this time. Bjorn Nassens, he's there in third with Fernando Afonso. I keep wanting to say Alonso. I'm so sorry, Fernando. He's there in fourth with Mike Sargent in fifth for Beaverblock. Mike Deere, we saw great potential from him earlier on. He's there in sixth with Jan Janik in seventh. Kyle Diaz Castro in eighth. Alessandro Ranieri in ninth. And Tom Euler now starting in 10th.
Kevin Adrian starting 11th, and you saw that top 10 is the invert. So there you go, 1 through 10, totally flipped on its head. Going to be make for an interesting last 20 minutes here. Kevin Adrian starting in 11th with Rich Meesters in 12th. And 13th, we have Paul Hickman with Charles Krasick starting in 14th. Sultan Zamoter, again, that first lap straightaway incident. just keep an eye. There's Zoltan going into turn 1 this time, please, with Juan San Miguel starting in 16th, Jonathan Abreu in 17th, Michael Cords in 18th, Bardia Neek in 19th, with Jason Hag rounding out your top 20.
As we have a look at 21st, Kane Halliburton is there with Thomas Martinen in 22nd. Rob Van Dan, he's there in 23rd. I believe there's a little bit extra on his name as well. I think it's Van Den Brink, if I remember rightly. He's there in 23rd with Yu Chan Yo in 24th. Now, I do wonder, did Halliburton rejoin the session? We'll see if we can get eyes on him in a very short moment, but certainly we see there, no, he did not, I'm informed. Okay, so that's a little bit of a shame there. I would have liked to see him running again. Certainly 8,500 IR, it would have been incredible to see if maybe there's something I could have learned just by watching him. But don't get me wrong, if you do want to develop your driving standards, ladies and gentlemen, every person here is involved in the Motor Racing Academy. You can check that out. We'll have adverts up for that for you a little bit later, and also as well the Motor Racing Checklist, which is more of a self-guided course. And Swelly is not just interested in teaching you like about one particular track. He wants to teach you methods so you can improve like universally, and that's why it works for multiple sims, ladies and gentlemen. I do understand they have challenges available as well. I think there's 10 or 12 challenges, and you can get different medals by doing that, certainly as well. And then you know what, if you want something a little bit more of a personable approach, they have coaches as well. I know Hayden Bramley, he is I believe the first person to qualify.
We know that guy.
Yeah, I know. This is why I mentioned it. Hayden Bramley is the first person to qualify from all of those courses, and he's now an instructor as well. I believe you can rent him for coaching, that is, for $50 US
Easy.
an hour. Yeah, I know, $50 US an hour, and his picture's actually there on the website as well. And he has a lot of success in the Weekend Warriors. We see him in the Spec Ford series as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk without bringing the upcoming streams up. This isn't the only race we've got coming up today. I think we're going to see Joshua Wilkie in the production booth one more time with Ron Mons. I'm going to be out on track here in the Formula Vs, speaking of the Weekend Warriors. So keep an eye out for that one, guys. Probably going to be going live here in about 4 hours after this race ends-ish. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere around there. But let's not talk about the Weekend Warriors anymore, because we have the Motor Racing Academy to cover, Daniel, and this is going to be a good one if it was anything like Heat 1.
Yeah, and as I'm having a look through the field, we've got quite an eclectic mix. It looks like some of them blue cars have been able to stick together again as well, but quite a mix up at the front. I really want to see if anybody's going to sort of like, look, there's 3 blue cars there all in a line. I would absolutely love to see them go 3 wide round a corner and absolutely
Don't say that. We've got Crispy the Goat. Crispy the Goat saying that they like to wreck each other, so let's hope that doesn't happen. You can see those 3 blue cars back there, but we are green, and Seri gets a great start. Speaking of 3 wide, it's going to be 3 wide for P2 here. What happens? Does Bell Wells lift? Bjorn Nasons, which one's going to lift? Fernando Afonso, all 3 of them going way wide into turn 1. This is going to get dangerous. As you can see, they all somehow sorted out.
Well, I really thought that was going to end in chaos. It looks like the leader there getting a little bit of a slide on, but able to keep control as we got 2 Team White at the front, and it looks like Fernando Alfonso and Bell Wells are going at it again.
Whoa.
3 blue cars in a row. What are you seeing, Adam? Oh!
We're okay. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. The blue cars have not wrecked each other. That was Jan Jančić on the inside, I believe, of Mike Dier. Everyone able to get it done, doing okay right now, and it looks like this was a much better start. It didn't sound like it because I got so excited, but we still have these blue cars battling back here. It's a massive battle. Now, again, we need to talk about this. They need to get this sorted out. They don't get it sorted out. Massive contact in the back.
That looked like it hurt.
Oh, yep, just a little bit.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you run an insurance company and you'd like to get involved, believe us, we can find you a sponsor for that one. I just seen a message come in from the stewards chat. I'll get to that in a minute, but wow, I don't know exactly what happened there, but I'm looking forward to finding out.
Zippy, Crispy the Goat said you are now in his bad book. Welcome to being a commentator for slow motion broadcasting. We love commentators cursing drivers. We do it all the time. But that doesn't matter right now. Bell Wells trying to get around Fernando Afonso. Fernando Afonso fighting that very, very well. Afonso sitting on the inside. That's very, very close between those 3 drivers. But look what this is doing for Seri Yannick in first place, really starting to extend that gap. Bell Wells down the inside where there's a blue car. That's Mike Dier going around. He's off the track, still sideways down the straightaway. There is massive contact here. Now we've got 3 gold cars. I can't. I have to take a breath, Zippy. Take it from me.
Oh man, as you see, Kyle Diaz-Castro, he's been able to move up a couple of spots as well, and Team Gold are absolutely loving this race so far. You can see it looks like there's 4 of them certainly within the top 6, top 7. And look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. 2 Team Gold, 2 Team White, almost flying in formation. Why am I saying flying? Driving in formation, and we are getting almost... We're opening a whole other world of possibility up, as it looks like Diaz-Castro is going to make a move on the inside, going into turn 1. It looks like he's got it done. He's going side by side with Alfonso, and yes, he makes it stick.
That is not a move we are used to seeing at that part of the track, but Fernando Alfonso gets it done. Now he's going to be trying to track down Alessandro Ranieri, who, by the way, is up 5 positions already.
Wow, definitely can't argue with that at all. That is great news to see. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm looking at the timing screen. Oh, wow. So there's some people here. He's currently... The hard charge right now is actually Juan San Miguel. He's currently in 8th place, but I do see a couple of people have dropped back pretty heavily. Looks like Rich Meesters may have been involved in that incident. Jan Janik as well. We'll check that out very shortly, as it looks like one of the guys taking Cindy is Kevin Adrian is able to move up another spot and then backing out the corner, making sure that his teammate does indeed survive the ordeal.
All right, keep in mind, we do have live race control.
Oh!
That was Kevin Adrian barely getting around Kyle Diaz. My goodness, that was close. But anyways, we do have live race control, and I'm sure they are very, very busy right now. We will get you some incident reports when we get them, but that's Juan Miguel, Fernando Alfonso, Kyle Diaz, all of these drivers sitting right now in this massive pack for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Now, we do have a bit of an incident here between Thomas Martinen and his fellow teammate. Let's see exactly what happens going through the chicane here. Oh, my. I mean, they're just, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go, Zippy.
So we're going to have a look. We got Tom Euler this time now. He may have been a little bit more involved. This might have been the gentleman who ended up vertically inclined at this point. But let's have a quick look. So you can see there, they come around in turn 1. Tom's got a little bit screwy there, and nothing he can do. So it looks like the number 2 car, number 2, number 12 are the main people here in the incident. Sympathies to our director here. Here we go. Bjorn Nassens. Let's take a quick look here. See exactly what started all of this off. So he's there going into turn 1. Looked like he got a little bit of a slide on there.
Yeah, and then the 22.
Oh,
yep, that was the 22 driver that decided to get into the back of him, and then after that, it's just all carnage. These Miatas might be, let's say, horsepowerly challenged, Zippy, but that doesn't matter, as there's another driver that locks up and may have gone off track there. That's the 9 car of Kyle Diaz, again through that final corner, and he had that issue going into the final corner last lap. Unfortunate for Kyle Diaz, but at the front, this gap is starting to come down. This is definitely a 2-horse race up front, and keep an eye out for Mike Sargent. I know this guy. I used to commentate on him in another league that was here on Slow Motion Broadcasting for a while, and he is not slow at all, and this is definitely going to be a 2-car battle the rest of this race, Zippy.
Well, that is definitely good news for them. They've got some free space so they can just play, they can joust, but I am seeing the stewards chat is getting very colorful. I can't broadcast it all, ladies and gentlemen, but I can broadcast this bit. So car number 2 and car number 22. So car 2, let me have a quick look here. That's Bjorn Nassens. 22 is Fernando Alfonso. So lap 1, turn 7. 10 penalty points to car 22. So that's Alfonso with the penalty. Reckless dive bomb causing major damage to others. So Alfonso, despite still being in this race, currently running in the 8th place, he is in the hot seat of the race control stewards.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. And you have to think about this, Zippy. That does not just hurt Alfonso. That hurts all of his teammates as well, because this is a team championship. This is not good news.
Oh, definitely not. You know, I do want to find out at some point, maybe actually, what was it, the crazy goat you were saying? We've got a quick replay here as well, but I think it's the crazy goat you've been speaking to there in the chat there, Adam. I do want to know as well, how do they decide the teams? Who goes team gold, team white, team black, team blue, and so on and so forth? I would like to hear that. If anybody in the chat does know, please let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyways, we are back to live picture. I believe Fernando Afonso there. You can see the damage that was caused, but it's not slowing him down at all. Maybe with this penalty, he probably knows it at this point, and he's probably going to be out for blood. I would keep an eye out for Fernando Afonso coming up on the back of Charles Krasik very, very quickly. Back at the top, though, you can see Yannick, and we have the best lap times here. Martin in back there in 11th place, up 11 positions as well. Great driving from Martinen with the fastest lap by a long shot at 39.1, way quicker than any of the drivers out on track.
Well, definitely, we did see great pace from him in qualifying, but certainly the race hasn't gone how he had in mind so far, as it looks like we've got a battle going on for the lead right now between Mike Sargent and Serhii Yanouk, and it looks like Sargent is definitely applying pressure. It looks like he's going to put a nose in there, not quite close enough, but it looks like Ranieri, now he did great in race one. He's caught up to the back of it, so now we have a 3-car battle for the lead.
Remember what I said about this being a 2-car battle, and that is exactly what Mike wanted? Forget about all that. Ranieri has gained 2 seconds in the last 5 minutes of this race. Ranieri is clearly the fastest driver out on track, and now that he's got the slipstream, let's see what he can do with it. Now, does he be patient, or does he make the moves? Because you don't want this to become a 4-car or a 5-car battle. Right now, Ranieri sitting in the catbird seat, doing a great job. Now, Ranieri down the front straight. Is he going to try to make a move here on Mike Sargent going into turn 1? No. Mini lift. Oh, he sticks his nose there, but just telling Mike, hey, buddy, guess who else has joined the party?
Well, this race may become a little bit of a pantomime. I don't know if you actually get those out in America, but it's kind of like theater, I guess. Maybe we would just call it something different. But the old saying goes, it's behind you. And that's certainly, as you see there, Yanouk going to defend there. Mike Sargent sending it up the inside. He's got onto that back wheel side by side. Is he going to be able to make it stick? These guys are literally wheel to wheel. A little bit of a contact there between Yanouk and Sargent. These guys are going hard at it.
Massive trust between Sargent and Yanouk there to be able to get that done cleanly as well. But look out, because now Ranieri is on the tail of Yanouk, and Yanouk does not want to give up this lead. Sargent somehow holds on to it.
Well, definitely a little bit of luck and a lot of bit of talent there involved to able to hold on to that. And is this going to be what Sargent needs? Is he going to be able to pull away while Ranieri starts a battle with Yanouk as well? Yanouk already under pressure. The gap between him and Ranieri only, well, about 0.3 of a second here, but it looks like it is indeed going to be a three-way fight. Yanouk focusing more on what's ahead rather than what's behind. But if you look behind Ranieri as well, that's Wells. Wells is starting to come into the picture as well. The top 6 are all in the red zone. They're about a second max between the cars. We could be a huge battle for the lead.
Crispy the GOAT in chat. Sorry, says Zippy has Jimmy Broadbent commentator energy with the lisp that's missing out of your voice, Zippy. So I do believe that's probably a bit of a compliment. That doesn't matter right now. You look down the inside of Mike Sargent.
I don't know if I'm flattered or not. I know who Broadbent is, but damn, thank you, Crispy. I've never been flirted with by a goat before. That's the first.
Yes. Anyways, back to the racing action as it looks like Ranieri trying to get around the outside of Yanouk this time. Ranieri definitely goes full send, but that's bringing Bell Wells back into the equation. And Bell Wells is there as it looks like Yanouk has crashed in front. Miguel behind. Yanouk off the racetrack. This is not good news.
Oh dear. We'll have to take a quick replay of that, but this is good news for Mike Sargent at the minute. He's pulled out a 1 second gap. Let's take a quick look here. What happened to the 92 car of Yanouk? You can see he's there on the inside. A little bit of over rotation. And I will say this, iRacing, great detail on that engine bay.
Yeah, great detail on the amount of toe links that got broken in that wreck as well. You can see Yanouk tries to get us, you can see where the grass is on the right-hand side. He tried to cover off Ranieri, and just got it wrong. Mike Sargent, though, in the lead. Ranieri now on the back of Mike Sargent with Bell Wells, another Team Gold driver, sitting in third.
Well, Sargent had opened up that gap to a second, and already Ranieri has reined that in by about 6 tenths as they're getting to go round the start-finish. So Sargent is definitely going to have to be hard on the defense, aware of what's in his mirrors. It looks like there's a little bit of lap traffic ahead, but the good news is for Sargent is these guys, they do enforce the blue flag, and it's a team blue car as well, so he should hopefully get by cleanly as Ranieri is almost under the back bumper there of Sargent.
I do believe that may be, I think that might be Mike Deere in front of these drivers at the moment, but that is okay news, like you said, because it is a blue flag rule in this league, which is a great thing. But looking back at the leaders here, things have calmed down just a little bit. It is a 3-car breakaway now with about 2-ish seconds between Wells and Adrian. So we are definitely going to start to settle in here for the last around 8 minutes of this race, and things are going to get very, very tense, I have a feeling, at the end of this one. Remember what I said about calming down for Heat 2, Zippy? Throw that all out the window at this point.
Yeah, I didn't see it happening either. Certainly the final race, final round, the gloves are going to be off. All right. Oh, if they're not off, they're going to be on. Obviously, Swellio, he's just released his new gloves. Ladies and gentlemen, you can pre-order those at a discount right now, so definitely head over and check that out. Wow. Certainly myself, I'm pretty inclined for him. As we see Juan Miguel, he's looked like he's trying to make a move on his teammate, no less, of Kevin Adrian.
Quickly here, each team has the same average I rating with the mix of the highest and lowest IR. The idea being the faster drivers can coach the others, and they do have private team channels, and then the splits are decided by I rating, just like the officials are, Zippy. So there is your answer for your teams. So it's not friends on these teams, it's just an I rating gap that tries to combine all of these different teams together to have the same similar I rating.
I like it, and I'm guessing that was our friend Crispy the Goat.
It was. It definitely was.
Yep. Thank you, Crispy. My new favorite person in chat. I've got to be honest. Flattery will get you everywhere. So we see Kevin Adrian. He's currently having a very good race. Actually, speaking of Kevin Adrian, he's up 6 spots right now. Juan Miguel, he's up 12. But the guy behind him, Thomas Martinan, 14 spots, ladies and gentlemen. Huge climber.
Hey, let's try to reread the amount of positions gained, and let's say it's 16 spots now for Thomas Martinan, doing an unbelievable job in this race. But who cares, because now we have 2 team gold cars battling, and Zippy, I got to talk tactics real quick here with 5 minutes to go. What you don't want are team gold cars battling. What if they get together? Mike Sargent is off into the sunset. Team blue more than likely wins this championship.
Well, certainly, it's definitely close. Actually, speaking of that championship, so remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's Team Blue and Team Gold who are fighting for it. Going into the day's event, Team Blue did have that advantage, and it looks like we're going to put that on hold right now. Ranieri is now alongside Mike Sargent. It looks like he's got just a bumper ahead at this point. Now, is this going to open the door as well? It's going to be able to sneak by as well. Sargent doing everything he can. You see, taking a lot of curb there, closing the door on Wells. Is he going to be able to attack? Get that position back. Team Gold certainly with the upper hand as we get into the closing stages of this race.
Great move by Alessandro Ranieri. Now Mike Sargent has to hold on to him. I can see Mike Sargent starting to fall back, though. I'm wondering if tire deg is starting to become an issue. I don't know if the track's been getting hotter or not. Maybe Mike Sargent is trying to save a little bit of tire for the end, but don't look now, because Bell Wells now going for a move on Sargent down the inside of turn 1. Does it not happen, thank God, because that could have caused massive chaos. But Bell Wells still sitting in 3rd place. Mike Sargent now in 2nd with Alessandro Ranieri in 1st place. And Crispy the Goat says, Zippy, my invoice will be in the post.
Well, that's going to be a blank check, sir. Not a blank check, a bounce check. My apologies, as it looks like Wells is trying to make a move on the inside of Sargent. Team Gold having a very good haul in this 2nd round, for the final round, actually, of this championship, this team's championship, that is. And it looks like Sargent's still able to keep it side by side. He's certainly trying very, very hard. And we have got a little bit of an incident there from race control as well. That is cars 9 and 64, lap 4, turn 1, round 2. 5 penalty points to car 64. Now 64, as I have a quick look, that's Rich Meesters. Rich Meesters, I'm surprised to see him being under heat from race control, but hey, they called it, ladies and gentlemen. He's there with an avoidable contact penalty.
Yeah, just because he's Canadian doesn't mean he's invincible, Zippy. Remember that. But anyways, Rich Meester is sitting back here in 11th place, trying to chase down Michael Cords at the minute. Jonathan Abruz right in front of them in 9th place as well. So bit of a battle going on here. And it looks like Ranieri is starting to gap at the front, but we may have a bit of an incident here that we can look at between Meesters and the 52 car of Michael Kors. Let's see what happens here. Nope, that's not the incident. Back to live picture again. We'll try it one more time here in just 1 second. But again, Sargent, doesn't matter. Trying to watch Meesters again, see if this is the incident that we're looking for.
Rich Meesters is somebody who I've raced with before, and oh, there you go. That's a little bit of a tank slapper there.
Anyways, back to live picture here, and yes, Rich Meesters again still on the back of Michael Cords, trying to get back up here to the front to talk about Sargent, who is losing that gap between Ranieri. As I say that, it is back down to 2 tenths. Now it's up to 5 tenths. I believe Sargent just made a mistake.
Well, it's a tough one to call, but, you know, in this situation, how hard do you want to fight? You know, Team Blue and Team Gold, I did the math, and it wasn't Zippy math, ladies and gentlemen. I used a calculator. It was 154 points between them. You know, the 98 points, that one I did on my head, so, you know, kudos to me on that one. But it was 154 points between Team Blue and Team Gold going into this. And you know what? These guys are still fighting hard at it. Sargent doing everything he can to defend, taking a lot of the curbing there. I do wonder, I'm not too sure at Oschersleben, but how generous are the track limits?
There you go. You can see Sargent had to get out of the throttle there. Let's see if he's able to clear this slow down. Looks like it is cleared because now he's fighting Wells. Wells on the outside. It turns to the inside through the Shell S's, and it looks like Sargent able to hold on to that position around the outside of the track. Look what that's done, though, Ranieri. Speaking of off into the sunset, goodbye, Mr. Alessandro Ranieri.
Yeah, this is exactly the news that Ranieri wanted. At this point, all he has to do is bring it home. Certainly a good situation to be in, but oh dear, look behind you, ladies and gentlemen. That's Juan San Miguel and Kevin Adrian. That's 2 of the Team White cars, and they are starting to catch up towards the podium positions now. The gap between them currently about 8 tenths of a second. Are they going to be able to get close enough to maybe be into fighting for that podium?
It needs to happen right now because this is the white flag lap, and it looks like Alessandro Ranieri has definitely done what he needs to get this win. Mike Sargent sitting in second again with Bell Wells in third, but we need to look at Miguel and Adrian as well. Can they get that gap close enough? It's about 7 tenths of a second right now. There's Sargent. There's Wells. Is Wells going to go on a move, or are they just going to play it safe here? Does Wells have enough tire left? Does he have enough confidence to be able to make a move? But with that being said, back up at the front, Alessandro Ranieri definitely going to get this to happen. But look, don't look now. Kevin Adrian has caught Miguel, or not Kevin Adrian, excuse me. Miguel has caught Wells. Can he get this done? He now is there. Does he have enough time?
Well, it's certainly going to have to push, but again, you know, it's still quite a gap to make up. Now, these Miatas, certainly a second gap can seem like a country mile, ladies and gentlemen, and he is running out of time. He's going to have to try and do everything he can. All he can hope for is that Sargent has to defend even harder, and I'd say that it looks like Sargent and Wells are going at it again. Sargent trying to defend as they go there, into that right-hander, able to hold him off, and that's going to open it up even more for Miguel.
And here we go. Bell Wells down the straightaway. Looks like Ranieri going to be able to get the win, but Bell Wells right on the back of Sargent. Is he going to pop out? Does he have enough time? No. Sargent going to take second with Wells in third. Miguel in fourth. Kevin Adrian coming home fifth. Another good points haul for the gold team. Blue team didn't do so hot in heat number 2, but back here to Zoltan Zamotor in a battle with himself right now with Mr. Abreu. Is Abreu going to have enough? No. Looks like Zamotor going to be coming home in 8th, 7th position with Afonso in the pit lane. Oh, no. What is going on here? Afonso finishes 10th coming through the pits. Cords in 11th with Krasick in 12th.
Well, speaking of Krasick, he was involved in a little bit of an incident. That was the little message you saw a few moments ago. So, car 59. Now, 59 is our friend there, Zoltan Zamoto. He's, I hate to remind you of that, Zoltan, but he's the gentleman who had that lap one race start incident there. Himself and Charles Krasick there in the 53. There's been 5 penalty points to Zoltan in that 59 car for avoidable contact. So definitely not what we want to see there. The race control keen, and yeah, we got one more as well. I'm just going to get this over to our producer as well. So that's car 22 and car 9. So let's have a quick look. So car 22, that's Fernando Alfonso. That's who we saw coming in the pits. And then car 9, help me out here, Adam. Okay, that's Kyle Diaz Castro. Last turn, very questionable move will be investigated after the race. So Fernando Alfonso definitely getting a little bit of heat there from the stewards.
Yes, we do have a couple drivers still to cross the line. Mike Deere just does it. We're waiting on John Jonkic now to get across the line. And then we will be able to get you results for our Heat 2 race and the final race here of this afternoon from Oschersleben. But man, Zippy, while we're waiting on this, great race overall. Definitely some contact.
Oh, definitely. But you know what? That's actually, having contact is not a bad thing in racing. You know, rubbing is okay, you know, as long as, you know, take each other out. I personally enjoy that. I think that's, you know, adds to the fun. And especially where it's iRacing, where, you know, you're not paying the bill to fix the car, even more so.
Of course, when it's you. Yeah, you definitely love contact, don't you, Zippy?
Oh, yes, sir. You know, whenever I race you, you normally end up getting punted off, albeit unintentionally. Or at least he thinks it's unintentional. We'll keep it with that. Maybe, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, maybe I need to spend a little bit more time doing the motor racing checklist and get involved in the motor racing academy. Certainly, you know, the sheer pace of these guys as well, I wouldn't even stand a chance as it stands right now. And I'm just, full transparency, I'm like 2400 I rating, but I have the driving skills of maybe 1100.
You have the driving skills of at least an 11-year-old, but we may have some results here, by the way, very quickly. I think, does Mr. Producer have some results for us? We do. Tom, those are Heat 1. Here we go. Feature results. Alessandro Ranieri drives off into the sunset with that beautifully gold painted car. Wins by over 3 seconds. Zippy from Mike Sargent and Bell Wells, who were battling very close at the line. Juan San Miguel able to get up there to get to the back of those drivers, just not quite enough time to get by either one of them. Comes home fourth with Kevin Adrian in fifth, Thomas Martinen in sixth, Zoltan Zamoder in seventh, obviously with a bit of a penalty at the end. Jonathan Abreu in eighth, Rich Meisters in ninth, and Michael Cords rounding out your top 10. Zippy with, I'm going to keep talking here because you told me to, Charles Krasick coming home in 11th, Paul Hickman coming home in 12th, Fernando Alfonso in 13th, Serhii Yannick in 14th, Mike Deere in 15th, Jan Jančić in 16th with Kyle Diaz, 17th, Tom Euler rounding out your top 18. We've got a few more for you here. Bjorn Nasons, Bardia Neek, Jason Hagg, Kane Halliburton, Rob Van Den, and Yu Chin Yo all did not start the race this afternoon. I'm going to keep talking because Zippy, you might be muted. We're waiting on people here, I believe. Oh, no, go ahead, Zippy.
I'm trying to sort out some interviews for us now. I appreciate that this is the first time that Slow Motion Broadcasting has had the honor of covering this event. I got to say, that's excellent B-roll footage there from our director. Fantastic race. I'm certainly looking forward to next season. But certainly, if you're watching the stream, Alessandro Ranieri, Mike Sargent, and Bell Wells, we'd very much like to talk to you. I have tagged you in the Motor Racing Academy Discord. By all means, come on over. I can see Alessandro is indeed in the team chat. I'd like to borrow you if I could.
Yeah, he just joined. Well, we can wait. We're okay. Oh wait, it's not like we got anything else going on today, Zippy. It's not like I've got a race to do or anything. So yeah, we can just hang out if you want to hang out. Yes, I have changed, at least Alessandro, I've changed your role, and we should, if you can join interview waiting, that'd be great. We are really much looking forward to talk to you. Paul Hickman as well has joined, just waiting on some drivers in here. We do have a driver, Alessandro Ranieri. Zippy, you want him?
Sure, why not?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, where are we going? Alessandro, first off, congratulations on that race win and a great result as well in the first round as well. Tell us a little bit about how that battle was for you with Mike Sargent and with the support of Bell Wells near the end.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm quite happy about the both races actually. I gotta say, a lot of the heavy hitters, the usual, really quick guys were missing, so it gives us a spot in the sun, right? So that was already very fun because you have a chance. And as for the feature race, yeah, I mean, it was great to survive to the point where we could actually have a shot at catching up. And then, I mean, Mike is quick. I've always seen him as one of the fairly quick guys, but I could see he didn't quite have the track down in a way. So yeah, I was pretty confident I could catch up. and there was also a little bit of a mistake from I forget who the other guy was. I'm sorry, the white team guy that kind of spun out of one of the hairpins. And then I had plenty of time. I had some time to study how he was driving, and I knew I would get him eventually. That was pretty good.
I believe that was Sergio Yenuk who would be that car that you was mentioning that had the unfortunate little spin there. But I gotta say, in terms of results, you definitely had the best day going so far. So you started on pole for race one, finished second, and then you went from 9th to 1st in your second race. That's absolutely fantastic. But Alessandro, I do understand this is the Motor Racing Academy, so tell us a little bit about your experience with that.
Right. So I joined. I was already kind of, I don't want to say good or decent, but there's been a lot of, let's say, details that I was missing in my driving, and that the academy also was a chance to have a bit more structure with the challenges, and then the league as an additional layer to that. I think it was a really good excuse to practice in a different way, and also to have a setting where you're in teams that are randomly assigned, but you still kind of feel that sort of, I don't want to say responsibility, but you know, in a fun way, that really helps practicing. I think it really adds something that brings out a bit more than just mindlessly lapping and just doing officials, right? But it's been a really nice experience. I think that there's quite a bit of work to do, I think, with the technical part of it, but there's been so much evolution already over the last couple of weeks that they're doing a terrific job, and it's really cool. I'm sure that everybody had a chance to learn a lot, so I'm very happy about the experience.
Well, I'm going to take that as very, very positive review here for the Motor Racing Academy. But Alessandro, it's been absolutely fantastic having you here in the booth with us. And what an absolutely fantastic result as well. 2 podiums. Thank you very much for joining us, Alessandro Ranieri. That is your race 2 winner, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, great drive there by Alessandro Ranieri, race 2 winner. And now we can talk about our second place in heat number 2, Mr. Mike Sargent. How you been, buddy?
I'm good, thanks, guys. How you doing?
Good. It was a great race out there for you today. What happened? It looked like you were kind of driving off into the sunset there, and then Alessandro said, nope, not so fast, Mr. Mike.
Yeah, Alessandro's pace was just mega. I thought I had a chance to get him at the end, but unfortunately with 2 to go, I just got a slowdown I didn't know existed out there and into that tight right-hander just before. After that, it was just a defensive run.
Mike, we may or may not have seen that on the broadcast, and we may or may not have maybe predicted that would have happened, but that is okay. You still brought home second place. Great drive for you in Team Blue. I know the points are close between you and Team Gold right now, but I think you guys may have locked it up after that great Heat 1 performance. 4 Team Blue drivers, nose to tail, 4th through 7th.
Yeah, it was again just a great recovery drive. I had to pull off there in the first race. I didn't qualify well at all, so to go from I think it was 15th to 6th was I couldn't believe it. Yeah, and then to wrap up the teams championship, that's absolutely a mega. I think that was the goal. Everybody was out there just trying to score as many points as possible.
We have Crispy the Goat here, who was begging you in Heat 1 not to run into your teammate because obviously Crispy the Goat is a Team Blue driver as well, did not participate this afternoon, but you did a great job, Mike. Congratulations on your P2, and I'm going to ask you the same question that Zippy asked Alessandro. Obviously, this is a Motor Racing Academy. What has this done for you as a driver?
Oh, it's definitely helped. Just jumping into cars and tracks that I don't usually run, and with the caliber of driving that we have here, it's just been an absolute ball. I couldn't recommend it more to anybody that's interested in just like good, clean, competitive racing.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And before we let you go this afternoon, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out? Obviously, a great drive today in both Heat 1 and Heat 2.
Yeah, I would like to shout out my boys at Beaver Block, my team, where they always encourage me. It's awesome, and sponsor us. We're still looking for sponsors. It's my little fake brand. And yeah, you have to, you know. And the Motor Racing Academy and the stewards, because without them we wouldn't have this awesome racing. And everybody should go check out the Radical Cup race tonight for Swellio as well.
There you go. Yeah, obviously, Danny. Oh my goodness! Now we're on nickname terms, Daniel. But he mentioned that Suelio is going to be driving tonight. So if you have the chance, obviously go check that out. But Mike, thank you so much for your time and congrats on your P2 in Heat 2 and your P6, I believe, in Heat 1.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, and thanks for what you're doing.
Absolutely. That was Mike Sargent there, P2 overall in the second race. And Daniel, man, it was a lot of fun.
Well, I'm actually just trying to sort out getting Bell in here. I have got a reply, so bear with me. We may be able to get them in just a moment. So bear with me in the meantime. I think we're getting close.
Like I said, I got nothing to do today. It's fine. Don't worry.
That's all right. You call me Danny. I'm not going to tell everybody what I call you, but whenever Adam calls me, he gets a different variety every time, and I'm not sure he's quite ready for it when he phoned me this morning. I'm like, yep, dude, you go back to bed, have a nap.
Yes. I overindulged in an alcoholic beverage last night, and been struggling a little bit this morning. But while we're waiting, I will say that alcoholic beverage overindulgence, I'm glad it did not keep me from commentating this race this afternoon. Unbelievable drive, and it sounds like it's such a great thing for these drivers, this Motor Racing Academy. Daniel, it really just seems like it helps either sim and real world. Seems like it helps quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely. I've got to admit, I've got to get on that. You know, I'm not driving enough. I'm spending too much time in the booth, and as a result, you know, my driving standards have dropped. And not only that, it's very valid how they say, you know, when you get to a certain point, you start developing bad habits. Now, don't get me wrong, I know I have bad habits, not just with driving, but certainly, you know I trail brake a lot, like too much, and it's not necessarily making me quicker. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have been able to get hold of Bell Wells. Now, this is our one of our finishers here. Bell, tell us a little bit about how that race went for you.
I do hope this is Bell. He just joined the Discord.
I can't hear anyone.
Oh, there. Oh, hello.
Hey!
We got her?
Bell? We heard very briefly.
Maybe.
What's the output supposed to be?
There we go.
Speakers? The video?
Oh, she's still trying to change. She can't hear us. That's the problem.
Oh, I can hear.
Hey, we got her.
Hey.
Bell, I do want to apologize very quickly before I hand you over to Mr. Salmon. I was calling you he all day, and I did not realize you were a female, which makes your third place finish even more amazing. So I apologize for that, Bell, but Daniel, go ahead.
I may have also been guilty of that. My apologies there, but that's absolutely fantastic. Certainly, we're seeing more and more women get into motorsport. I believe they have a Formula One Academy as well now. So certainly, Belle, we'd love to see you in there. I'd certainly, I'd write you a good reference. It wouldn't be worth the paper it's written on though. But Belle, tell us a little bit about how the racing went for you today. I can see it looks like race 1 not quite as hot, but race 2 securing a lovely third place.
It was very fun, very close. I'm not very good at overtaking, so I kind of just clung to his draft and hung in there.
Well, that's definitely, the more and more you drive, the more, you're going to get involved. As I have a quick look as well, you're rocking about the same I rating as me, so I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on that. I'm going to say you definitely know how to overtake with such pace. 2400 I rating, and yours is like legit, but tell us a little bit about how you've been working with the Motor Racing Academy.
Suelio's videos have helped me so much. I usually don't think about racing very detailed. I kind of just go out there and mess around, have fun, and when I watch his videos, I actually think about the apexes and getting the maximum rotation point. It's really helped a lot.
So yourself, would you say, what got you into sim racing? Are you is cars your thing? Tell us a little bit about how your journey started.
Probably video games is more my thing. My husband got into it during COVID and I tagged along and I got way into it. It's so fun. Can't really stop.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's certainly nothing I'm going to object to over here. But Belle, before we let you go, is there anybody you want to shout out or anything like that?
Just everyone. I feel like everyone's helped me get a lot better. I stream and that my whole chat has helped me get better. Everyone's been really kind. I appreciate it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, anybody who's been there cheering for Belle Wells, thank you very much. And that was your second place finisher, I believe. Hang on.
Third.
I'm looking. Third place. Thank you. I'm looking at too many screens. That was Belle Wells, ladies and gentlemen. But I suppose we should probably try and bring this stream to an end. Adam, would you like to do the honor, sir?
I would, and I would love to shout out my
something.
fellow FV driver as well in chat. Michelle Lynn saying, geez, Adam and Zippy, you know women race too. Speaking of women racing, catch her a little later on today. Hopefully I beat her. But we are going to be running the FVs together. But I do believe I can't see the upcoming stream, Zippy, so I'm going to have to hand it over to you for the upcoming streams.
I don't think I can see him either, but just give me 1 second because we do have to give a shout out. Give me 1 second here. There's a channel I need to mention for Incident Review, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just trying to find it. Here we go. So check this out on Twitch, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Lockwood, 43. I'm going to put the link so our director can see it as well. Maybe he can pop something up through the overlay very shortly now that I've just put him on the spot like the nice person that I am. Sorry, Josh. There you go. He goes and does Incident Review. This is something that Swallow is, he's pretty keen on that. So if you want to check that out, by all means, that is the link for it. Adam, I've lost my chain of thought now. We're looking for the upcoming streams. Do the honor, sir.
I will. So this afternoon at 3:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, I talked about Michelle Lynn in chat. Michelle, get ready, because we're going to Mid-Ohio in the Formula Vs for the Weekend Warriors. And then tomorrow, we got more Weekend Warriors action coming at you at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time at Lime Rock Park. It ain't done yet, though. We got 3 streams coming at you tomorrow. We have Laguna Seca in the Spec Racer Ford, also part of the Weekend Warriors. And then Cross Series League Racing tomorrow night. I know that is that should be tomorrow night. It is wrong, but we are at Knoxville in the Legends 34 Coupe, round out the final 4 races of our season, of our championship. I keep saying "our" because that is my league. But yes, we are going to be in the Dirt Legends 34 Coupes around Knoxville. And then on Saturday, October 5th, tune back in. We got Formula Vs coming at you from Navarra for the Weekend Warriors. But guys, until next time, my name has been Adam Thompson, always lovely, joined in the booth by Mr. Daniel Zippy Salmon. And as always, Joshua Wilkie, a bit of a new producer here, but doing a great job here for Slow Motion Broadcasting in the production booth. Until next time, until this afternoon, my name has been Adam Thompson, and we will see you soon.
I see a Budweiser. Go ahead and hold it up.
Yes. There's
that was
our
the biggest clue.
Yes, right
Doing
there.
it for Dale.
Man, it's so many gimmicks, right? I feel like they're making it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, a lot of people, you get polarizing opinions on DRS.
I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here, but sometimes the effort, it's all about the boys. You know, like, hey, you know, life sucks sometimes, and you need the boys.
iRacing kind of always has a tendency to kind of buff the new cars just a little bit. I'm not going to go on record saying it's because they want people to spend money on their platform and buy all the new content.
Confirmed.
But
In 5 years, I went from this, a cheap used simulator at home, to this, professional racing driver, and championship leader. My name is Soto Almeida. I'm the founder of the Motor Racing Academy. I have a total of 2,500 hours of coaching experience, over 10,000 hours of sim racing and real-life racing combined. Today, I understand and teach all the stages of racing technique development, from total beginners until top-level drivers, both in sim racing and in real-life racing. With all this knowledge, I've created this free driver development guide to help racing drivers become competitive as quickly as possible by structuring the techniques and skills required for top-level performance. And most importantly, the right order to learn them. In the pages, you will visualize the stages of racing technique, identify where you are in your career path, and know exactly which area you have to focus on to become a faster and more consistent racer. Because motorsports looks simple from the outside. Drive fast, be precise, control the car, win races, drink champagne. But once you start driving, you quickly realize it's much more than that. The experience can quickly become overwhelming and frustrating for beginners. By reading this guide completely, word by word, you will protect yourself against becoming just one more frustrated driver. Many drivers get into racing with enthusiasm and passion, but no clear plan. They jump from one technique to another, absorbing random tips and tricks without any structure. This confusing approach will make you slower, and it will definitely create bad habits that will be hard to break later on. The truth is, the right order of development is crucial. When you focus on mastering foundational skills first, you build a solid base that protects you against bad habits and ensures steady and consistent improvement. Without this foundation, the most advanced techniques won't have any impact in your driving. There's way too much information about racing on the internet, but almost all of it is actually unstructured and confusing. You can go to forums, YouTube videos, books, and you see everyone talking about trail braking or early and late apexes, V-shape, U-shape, downforce, oversteer, neutral steer, understeer, engine braking. What should you learn first? For example, if you try to learn trail braking without at least having 4 to 5 essential skills developed and polished, it will just make you slower, less precise, and frustrated. This guide will save you thousands of hours of frustration and speedrun your progress to becoming a very competitive driver. Remember, without a plan, you will feel lost and unsure of where to start or what to focus on. That's why I created this step-by-step guide to help you visualize the roadmap from beginner to professional motorsports technique. You will learn exactly which skills and techniques to develop first and how to build upon them effectively. This way, you can progress efficiently and become a more confident and faster driver in no time. All you need to do now is follow the plan and have fun.